So good evening everyone. Today we are here for the second lecture of the PYQ analysis for polity subject. Okay. In the last lecture that was being displayed on last Sunday, we discussed about something basics regarding the PYQs of polity. We discussed the sources which were to be followed, the newspapers, how to read a newspaper regarding the polity as a subject, how to read NCERTs. There were 4 NCERTs we discussed, and these 4 NCERTs were of utmost importance when it comes to the UPSC polity as a subject. Alright, then we have discussed 2 subjects, like 2 topics from the UPSC, from where the UPSC has been asking questions. One was fundamental rights, then there were DPSPs. So in this today's class, we are going to analyze questions related to the preamble. Then we will be dealing to the philosophical parts of the constitution, like how UPSC has been framing questions on the philosophical topics. Like they have been asking the questions, rights are related to duties, what is constitutionalism, how state power ka definition they have been asking. So basically these are the topics that have been the favorite for UPSC. So without any further delay, let us start for the today's topic, and the today's topic is preamble. What is the today's topic? Preamble. And in preamble we got these type of questions, like there was a question in 2017 and the question has been asking which of the following objectives is not embodied in the preamble to the Constitution of India. क्या क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है कि इनमें से कौन सा ऑब्जेक्टिव प्रीएम्बल में नहीं है, ठीक है. एंड एवरीवन मस्ट नो द टेक्स्ट ऑफ द प्रीएम्बल, कि हाउ द प्रीएम्बल स्टार्ट्स, what kind of liberties are being provided in the preamble of the Constitution. And preamble is like a ID card of the Constitution, or I can say the index of the Constitution, because it highlights the constitutional philosophy. It highlights the philosophy of the people that have made the Constitution. It highlights the vision of the Constituent Assembly, the vision of the Constituent Assembly debates, and this is how the Constitution was framed. So in summary, the ideals on which the constitution articles have been created are embodied in the preamble to the Constitution. Now if we talk about the liberty, the preamble text reads, the preamble secures to all citizens of India. ध्यान से सुनना, the preamble secures to all citizens of India liberty of thought, liberty of thought, then we have expression, then we have belief, then we have faith, and then we have worship. Basically these 5 kinds of liberties that are being talked in the preamble to the Constitution of India. The liberty of the preamble secures to all citizens of India liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship. ठीक है. Liberty of thought and expression, I can say these are talking about the Article 19 of the Indian Constitution, Article 19 of Part 3, that is fundamental right. And what is Article 19? The right of freedom of speech and expression. This is Article 19. Similarly, we have belief. I can say it can be a religious belief, and religious belief or the religious guarantees are provided by the Articles 25 to 28. That is religion, right to profess, propagate religion. So these are religious rights basically. Then we have faith. Faith can also come under the context of religion. Then we have worship, the same thing which has been related to the religion. Now just tell me, is there any concept of, like if we talk about our question, liberty of thought is there, we have discussed liberty of thought is there, first point. Then we have liberty of expression is also there, second point. Then we have liberty of belief is also there. Is it clear? That means these 3 things are discussed in the preamble to the Constitution of India. But what about the economic liberty? Is the preamble talking about the economic liberty? Can you tell me from this concept कि economic liberty की कुछ बात भी है क्या preamble में? So we can clearly say like this thing has not been discussed in the preamble of India, preamble of the Constitution of India. So the answer for this question would be like it has been asking is not embodied in the preamble to the Constitution of India. So the answer for this question will be option B, that is economic liberty has not been there in the preamble to the Constitution of India. And can you tell me from where we took the concept of liberty? These kind of questions can be directly framed in UPSC. Like in one side they will talk about the provision, and in the second column they will talk about the constitution from which this provision has been taken. Like the ideals of liberty have been taken from French Revolution. Liberty, equality, fraternity. So basically it is the French Revolution that has been talking about the liberty. French Revolution happened on 1789. So this is the basic concept regarding the preamble. Now moving on to the next question, we have next question, the minds of the makers of the constitution is reflected from which of the following? The question has been asking the minds of the constitutional makers can be known from which of the following. ठीक है? Okay, the minds of the constitutional maker किससे पता लगवा सकते हैं? ठीक है, the options are preamble, then we have fundamental rights, then we have DPSPs, then we have fundamental duty. See, if we talk about the preamble, I have already said it is like the ID card. It is like the ID card of the Indian Constitution, or I can say it is the index of the Indian Constitution. What kind of philosophy is being followed in the entire Constitution is being displayed in a mini version by the preamble to the Constitution of India. So this is how the entire philosophy of the Constitution of India is being displayed in the preamble to the Constitution of India. So the answer for this question would be the option A, that is preamble. Also in Berubari Union case, there was a case, Berubari Union case, in which the Supreme Court, Berubari Union case, in which the Supreme Court also held that preamble is the key to the minds of the constitutional makers of India. Supreme Court explicitly said this point. Okay? Even if we talk about the mind of the makers of the Constitution of India, mind mein, what can you think about? The concepts of the Constitution, the talk of liberty, the talk of fundamental rights, and everything is being talked about in the preamble to the Constitution. These concepts are implicitly mentioned. Like अभी हमने discuss किया last question में, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, worship, कहाँ पे था वो? preamble में था, and it is like a like ID card to the Constitution of India. हमेशा ये point याद रखना, you will always get the concept right. Now moving on to the third question, we have third question has been talking about one second. Question number 12 is there. Which part of the Constitution of India declares the ideal of welfare state? The question has been talking about the ideal of welfare state. ठीक है? Can you tell me what is a welfare state? What is a welfare state? Welfare means कल्याण in Hindi. क्या मतलब हुआ welfare state का? Basically, it is a state that provides certain socio-economic services to the people of the country. Like it is providing the socio-economic services to the people of the country. And what can conclude the socio-economic service? Like it can be a health service, or I can say health in the form of hospitals, in the form of primary health care centers, in the form of big hospitals. So this is how the welfare state, or I can say welfare concept of the state is being released. Then we can have education. The government has been thinking about the education of its people. Then we can also have the housing facilities. Then we have the different schemes that are working for the people of India. We have Ujjwala Yojana is there. Too many Awas Yojana is there. Manrega is there. So basically, what are these schemes? These schemes are kind of schemes that reflect the socio-economic welfare characteristics of the state, and these are being mentioned in the part 4th of the Indian Constitution. part 4th of the Indian Constitution, that is directive principles of the state policies. This is how the concept of welfare state is being reflected in the Indian Constitution. ठीक है? Nowhere in the other parts like fundamental rights, preamble, 7th schedule, no such term welfare state like has been mentioned. So basically the answer for this question will be option A, that is directive principles of state policy. Is it clear to you? Okay. Now let us move on to the next question. Next question we have, one second, yeah, philosophical. So basically the next subtopic which we are going to discuss is the philosophical section. Is the philosophical section that are being asked in the UPSC prelims examination. That will not directly ask the question. They will mingle several concepts of the Indian Constitution. Like they can create a relation between the rights and the duties. They can talk about the principle of equality. They can talk about the principle of separation of powers. So basically this is how they can make questions on the conceptual part of the Indian Constitution. And how will you deal with these kind of questions? So see this, these kind of questions are certainly asked from the NCERT. We have discussed there were 4 NCERTs and a particular NCERT, Indian Constitution at Work. The UPSC has been framing the questions every year from that book. So you need to thoroughly study those books and internalize polity as a conceptual subject. You don't need to be fearful of the like polity में there are too many articles, too many topics, too many things to deal with. ऐसा नहीं है. Once you internalize polity as a subject, everything will be easy. आपको लगेगा कि हाँ, I know about everything, like I know about the fundamental rights as a concept, I know about DPSPs as a concept, I know about preamble as a concept. So whatever question I ask on the polity subject, you would be comfortable to answer that. Now moving on to this question, it has been talking one of the implications of equality in society. This is question has been talking about equality in society is the absence of. We need equality in society. Just tell me, there are many people in a particular society, and when will they all be equal? When everything is equal in every aspect, like the wages they are getting are equal, the services they are getting from the state are equal, the liabilities imposed upon them by the state are equal. So basically this is the concept of equality. Now just tell me, if there are 5 people in a particular society, A, B, C, D, E, okay? All of the 5 people, like A is getting a wage of 200 rupees per month, 200 rupees per month. The same wage is for B, 200 rupees, C का भी same wage है 200 rupees, D के लिए भी 200 rupees, but E के लिए it is 400 rupees. ठीक है? Now they go on a particular trip, and the hotel that has been booked by the state for them is like he got 1 bedroom, he also got 1 bedroom, he also got 1 bedroom, he also got 1 bedroom, but the person E got a presidential suite, So you will certainly think कि sir, जब when all the people are equal, why E is not provided with the same services? Or I can say E is getting a special kind of benefits, or I can say E is getting certain kind of privileges. Like everyone is getting a wage of 200 rupees, but E is getting a wage of 400 rupees. When you are booking 1 bedroom set for everyone, you have been booking the presidential suite for E. Isn't it some kind of privilege that the E is getting? Isn't it some kind of privilege that the E is getting? Or agar if I want equality in the society, what will I do? I will make the wage of E 200 rupees. I will also book the 1 bedroom set for E also. That means I need to cancel out the privileges that the E is getting. That means there must not be any kind of privilege available to a particular person. That means this is the concept, the equality will be there where there will be no privileges, This is how the concept of equality has been dealt with. Now if we talk about the other options, restraints, ऐसा नहीं है कि equality और restraint का there is no relationship in this particular concept. Equality और restraint का कोई relation नहीं है. Similarly, competition, like competition is based on merit. We have certain exams, UPSC, we have CAT, GATE, every kind of examination. So if you are like being facing a particular competition and you are getting a rank by the merit of yourself, that does not mean you are violating the concept of equality. इसका मतलब इक्वालिटी का मतलब क्या है? लाइक एवरीवन इज गेटिंग द इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी टू पार्टिसिपेट इन द प्रोसेस ऑफ द एग्जामिनेशन, but this does not guarantee the selection will be provided to everyone. It will certainly depend upon the concept of merit. So this statement is also correct. Similarly, ideology has not been related to the concept of equality. समझ आया? So the right answer for this question will be option A, that is the absence of privileges. In the last lecture I talked about कि see, whenever you try to solve a previous year question, just don't finish a question like this. I read the question and find out the right answer, then I move on to the next question. Don't do this. Like whenever you solve a question, first try to find the right answer, then thoroughly study the other options of the question too. Like what UPSC do is like they frame a question for the next year from the options of the question from a previous year. Okay, so do try to study each and every option in a careful manner. Okay, now moving on to the next question, we have, one second. Question number 8. Question number 8 has been talking about which one of the following statements is correct. इनमें से there is one correct statement and it has been talking about which statement is correct. The first is rights are claims of the state against the citizen. ठीक है, keywords पे ध्यान देना. Rights are claims of the state against the citizen. Rights are privileges. It has been saying कि rights are privileges which are incorporated in the constitution of state. Constitution of a state. Okay. Rights are claims of the citizens against the state. And the D option is rights are privileges of a few citizens against the many. Okay, now if we talk about the concept of rights, see, whenever a society is formed, like the many group of people come together and they pass the authority to a set of appointed persons, to a set of government, and the society expects certain kind of rights from the society, from the state, from the government, from the other people. So basically this is how the concept of rights are evaluated. And rights can be too many. Certain examples are legal right, then we have constitutional right, then we have fundamental right, then we have environmental right. So basically, and there is one more right, human right. The right you need when you are acting as a human. Like if you are born as a human being, there are some certain kinds of rights you need to survive as a human being. This is how the concept of human rights came in. This is being talked about the universal, in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, a concept of United Nations, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948. It has been talking about the human rights as a concept, and UPSC in the paper of 2020 directly asked a question on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. They asked कि UDHR में, Universal Declaration of Human Rights में क्या क्या concept dealt है. Like the options were fundamental rights, DPSPs and fundamental duties. So this is how the importance of UDHR can be studied. Okay. Now if we talk about the rights, rights are basically the things, rights are basically the concept or things that the people of a country, expects from the state, किससे एक्सपेक्ट करेगा? स्टेट से ही एक्सपेक्ट करेगा ना. लाइक दिस राइट टू इक्वालिटी. सो आई विल एक्सपेक्ट फ्रॉम द स्टेट दैट एवरीथिंग दे डू must be done with the eyes of equality. Whatever kind of materialistic distribution, socio-economic services distribution is there, it should be equal on every concept. Say for example, you are giving the exam of UPSC and somehow UPSC cancels your candidature without any reason. Like they will say ki, I am not liking your name, so I am cancelling your candidature. Will it be a facet of an equal society? Clearly not. So this is how the rights are the claims of the citizens against the state, and this is the option is there na. Like if we talk about the C option, rights are claims of the citizen against the state. This is the right answer. But if we talk about other options too, like say for example, the D option has been talking, rights are privileges of a few citizens against the many. Now just tell me, अभी हमने पिछले क्वेश्चन में डिस्कस किया कि one of the implications of equality in the society is the absence of privileges. अभी हमने बोला ना, जहां पे प्रिविलेज होगा वहां पे सोसाइटी इक्वल नहीं होगी. बट द डी ऑप्शन हैज बीन टॉकिंग अबाउट द प्रिविलेजेस. भाई अगर आपने प्रिविलेज दे दिया किसी को, दैट मीन्स आपने इक्वालिटी छीन ली सोसाइटी से. और जहां पे इक्वालिटी छीन ली जाती है सोसाइटी से, दैट मीन्स दैट इज नॉट अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल सोसाइटी, और आई कैन से दैट इज नॉट वर्किंग अंडर द आइडियल्स ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया. सो दिस इज हाउ डी ऑप्शन हैज बीन रॉन्ग. Similarly, rights are privileges which are incorporated in the constitution of a state. There is no privilege in the constitution. No privilege in the constitution of a state. There are just rights, and these rights are equally distributed to the citizens of a state. Now, the first option is rights are the claims of the state against its citizens. This is a perfectly wrong statement, because rights are the claims of the citizens. State cannot expect ki like the citizens should do this for me. For this concept, there is a concept of fundamental duties. Like fundamental duties is the thing which the state expects from the people of a country. Fundamental rights are the claims of the citizens against the state. So this statement is clearly wrong. So the answer for this will be option C, that is the claims of the citizens against the state. Now moving on to the next question, we have okay, next question is a 2017 philosophical concept question, and the question has been asking about democracy's, one second, yeah, democracy's superior virtue lies in the fact that it calls into activity. ध्यान से समझना कि democracy's superior virtue, like the best facet of the democracy, lies in the fact that it calls into activity the intelligence and character of the ordinary man and woman. The keywords are the intelligence and character of the ordinary man and woman. Then we have the methods for strengthening executive leadership. ध्यान से पढ़ना स्टेटमेंट को. The methods for strengthening executive leadership. It has been talking in the opposite sense when it comes to the constitutionalism. Constitutionalism talks about a limited government, and the statement has been saying कि हमें strengthen करना है executive leadership को. तो ये तो आंसर हो ही नहीं सकता था. We will discuss it further. Now third statement, a superior individual with dynamism and vision. Superior individual. So according to this, even Shah Rukh Khan and Salman Khan can be the prime minister of the country if we go by this concept, because they are superior individuals with dynamism. They have a fan following and vision. Okay. A band of dedicated party workers. Absolute weird statement, or I can say absurd statement it is. What a country need to do with the dedicated party workers? A country is about how its resources are managed by the government. Like how equitable, there is a equitable resource distribution is there. So will dedicated party workers, like we have BJP, Congress and any kind of party, will they do anything for a democracy? So this option is clearly absurd and it will not be the answer. Now if we talk about the first statement, the intelligence and character of the ordinary man and woman, this is the right answer for this. Why this is the right answer? Because whenever you say we have a representative democracy, we the country as India have representative democracy. We select a representative, say for example MP MLA from a particular constituency, and these people represent the interest of the people of the constituency, in the parliament or state legislature, Now just tell me, whenever there is some sort of elections that are happening in the country, maybe it can be Lok Sabha election, maybe it can be Vidhan Sabha election, or it can be a Panchayati Raj election. People often discuss about this, like I am going to vote for this person, I am going to vote for this party, I am going to vote for a person who will make the roads get repaired, I will vote for that party that will provide me with the healthcare services, or I will vote for that party that will provide with me with the educational opportunities. So this is how the ordinary men and women have been applying their minds and seeing ki like from where I should get a vote, or from to the party where should I vote. होता है ना ऐसा, like there have been too many exit polls, opinion polls, people have been talking like I am voting for this party. This what this has been doing, they are critically analyzing the performance of a party before elections कि like इस पार्टी ने कुछ काम नहीं किया है, I will not vote for this party. This is how the intelligence and character of the particular man and woman are revealed. So the answer for this question will be option A, that is the intelligence and character of the ordinary men and women. Now moving on to the next question, we have गोविंद पानी देना. Okay, next question is there. In the context of India, which one of the following is the correct relationship between the rights and the duties? The question has been asking. One second. Okay, the question has been saying, in the context of India, which one of the following is the correct relationship between rights and duties? ध्यान से पढ़ना. These are philosophical questions, and even if we don't know the answer, exact answer to these questions, we can have the right answer just by knowing the concepts. अगर हमको rights का concept पता है ना, even if we don't know a single article, then we can also make this question correct. This is the beauty of a philosophical question. You will get the right answer even if you internalize the concept of a polity as a subject. आपको rights का एक concept पता लग गया ना कि rights are the claims of the citizens against the state, then you will get every question right if a particular question on the right comes in any paper. Now the question is, rights are correlative with duties. ठीक है, पहला statement is there, rights are correlative with duties. Then the second statement, it has been saying कि rights are personal and hence independent of society and duties. ध्यान से पढ़ना statement को, rights are personal and hence independent of the society and duties. Third statement, rights not duties are important for the advancement of the personality of the citizen. And the fourth statement is there, duties not rights are important for the stability of a state. ध्यान से समझो इनको. एक बात बताइए मेरे को, पहले फोर्थ ऑप्शन देखते हैं कि लाइक ड्यूटीज नॉट राइट्स आर इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द स्टेबिलिटी ऑफ द स्टेट. जस्ट टेल मी, इफ द पीपल आर प्रोवाइडेड विद द फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज ओनली and there is no right, like there is no equality is there is no freedom, there is no right to life or any kind of right, like religious rights are not guaranteed, cultural rights are not there. Can you tell me what kind of situation it will form? Like people will not be able to vent out their grievance. The media of that state would be controlled, everything would be controlled, so it will surely bring out the anger in the lives of the people, and this anger will always vent out in the form of revolution. Mark my words, this kind of anger is always vent out in the form of revolution. समझ आया? So this is how the importance of the rights is there. So this concept is clearly wrong, because अगर लोगों के पास rights ही नहीं होंगे, that will lead to a grave situation, like a dangerous situation would be there. So this should not happen. So this cannot be a right. C option, rights not duties are important for the advancement of personality of the citizen. See, if we talk about rights and duties, rights is kind of something that I expect from others, ठीक है, समझ आया कि right is something that I expect from others. I have a right to peaceful sleep, है ना, right to peaceful sleep under article 21 of the constitution. तो what I would expect from others कि यार आप लोग ना शोर मत मचाओ रात में. There is a ban on DJ after 11 PM ना, कि पुलिस आती है and they stop the DJ कि like it is not allowed. So this is how the right to a peaceful sleep is guaranteed through laws. तो इसका मतलब what this is right is something that I expect from others. Now if I talk about the duty, duty is something that others expect from me, that others expect from me. क्या expect करेंगे others? There are certain kind of fundamental duties like to respect the ideals of the constitution, to respect the ideals of the national movement, to send our wards between 6 to 14 years of age to the school. So these kind of things are fundamental duties. Basically it talks about the civic sense of the people of India. Now if I ask you a question, if there are no fundamental duties, would it be possible to enjoy completely the fundamental rights? It will never be possible, because to enjoy the fundamental rights there must be certain kind of duties that should be there, so that everyone can enjoy their fundamental right, or I can say rights. ठीक है? Say for example I am a ruling element, like I play music for entire 24 hours a day. So can I allow others to enjoy their right to a kind like peaceful sleep? That would never happen. So basically rights and duties are correlated with each other. Without other one cannot be enjoyed. ठीक है? अगर rights नहीं होंगी तो duty enjoy करना it's too difficult, और duty नहीं होगा तो right को तो enjoy करना possible है ही नहीं. Now if we come to the question statement, rights are correlative with duties. It has been clearly giving us the right answer. Rights are correlative with duties. ठीक है? So this will be the right answer. Fourth was wrong. अभी हमने discuss किया. Similarly C option is wrong. Now rights are personal and hence independent of society and duties. This is wrong, because rights are dependent on the society and duties. देखो जैसे जैसे society grow करती है, you can have certain kind of rights. जैसे हमको rights ना हमने कभी सोचा भी नहीं था, वो भी rights अपने को मिले. Right? Like right to information is there. RTI Act is there. Earlier it was not a fundamental right, but with the passage of time we thought here there must be certain kind of right that allow people of a country to get the information from the state. And this is how the right to information was made a fundamental right through the RTI Act 2005. ठीक है? It is a trait of an organic constitution. And what do you mean by organic constitution? That grows with the demand of the time. ठीक है ना? जैसे जैसे time आएगा, we need certain kind of amendments so that the constitution can suit a particular society. Okay, समझ आया? So the answer for this question will be option A. Now moving on to the next question, we have next question is there. Which one of the following, the question number 40 is there. It was a question in 2018 prelims. ठीक है? Okay. Which one of the following reflects the most appropriate relationship between the law and liberty? ठीक है? If there are more laws, there is less liberty. If there are no laws, there is no liberty. If there is liberty, laws have to be made by the people. If laws are changed too often, liberty is in danger. ठीक है? क्या मतलब हुआ? First tell me the keywords of this question. Now it has been talking about which one of the following reflects the most appropriate relationship किसमें? Law and liberty के बीच में. And what do you mean by liberty? Liberty means the absence of restraints. क्या मतलब हुआ? Absence of restraints. This is liberty. Or I can say liberty is a like opportunity to develop oneself fully. क्या मतलब हुआ? Opportunity to develop oneself fully. Now if we talk about like absence of restraints, is it a complete definition of liberty? इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? Absence of restraints कि like I can do whatever I want to do. कि मेरे को कहीं भी जाना है, मेरे को प्रेसिडेंट हाउस में घुस जाना है ऐसे ही, मेरे को पार्लियामेंट में घुस जाना है ऐसे ही. इज इट अ लिबर्टी? इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि एब्सेंस ऑफ रेस्ट्रेंट तो है, बट देयर आर आल्सो सम काइंड ऑफ रेस्ट्रेंट्स दैट आर बीइंग अप्लाइड ऑन द पार्ट ऑफ लिबर्टी, बट दीज रेस्ट्रेंट्स शुड बी लॉजिकल, और आई कैन से दे मस्ट बी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल, कि they must follow the spirit of the constitution. अगर ऐसा नहीं है and parliament creates a law that is taking away the liberty of the people, and if the judiciary finds out कि this law is ultra virus or unconstitutional, then it can be struck down under the concept of judicial review, and judicial review is a part of the basic structure of the constitution of India. तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि लिबर्टी तो देयर है, लिबर्टी इज देयर, और उस पर कुछ ना कुछ रेस्ट्रेंट्स भी हैं, बट दीज रेस्ट्रेंट्स आर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल, लाइक दे आर मैचिंग द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म. ऐसा ही नहीं है कि आपने कुछ भी रोक लगा दिया लिबर्टी पे, आपने जितने भी रोक लगाए हैं वो क्या है, लॉजिकल हैं, वो जायज हैं. ठीक है. नाउ इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द कॉन्सेप्ट, और आई कैन से द ऑप्शंस, इफ देयर आर मोर लॉज देयर इज लेस लिबर्टी. एकदम एब्सर्ड स्टेटमेंट. जितने भी लॉज कर लो आप, दीज लॉज मस्ट बी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल. जितने भी लॉज आपने बना लिए, जब तक वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है, लिबर्टी पे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. आप 10 लॉज लेके आओ, 20 लेके आओ, बट दे मस्ट बी अकॉर्डिंग टू द प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. इफ दिस इज द केस, देन देयर विल बी नो इंपैक्ट ऑन द लिबर्टी ऑफ द पीपल. सेकंड स्टेटमेंट, if there are no laws there is no liberty. This is the right answer for this statement. Why? अगर आपके पास कोई लॉ ही नहीं है, like there is no law for the police system, there is no law for the criminal justice system, there is no law for the prison system, so can you tell me, can other people enjoy their liberty? This would be a situation of utter chaos. The anarchy would be there. So this is how the people of India or any country, any state cannot enjoy their liberty if there are no laws. ठीक है. So this statement is the right answer. Now अगर हम देखते हैं, if there is liberty, laws have to be made by the people. This is a wrong statement because हमारे पास we got liberty by the Constitution of India, and what kind of government, what kind of model we are following? It is a representative government. Like we choose our MPs and MLAs for them to represent us, है ना. So this is how a representative government is there. But एक बात बताओ, ours is a representative government, still we got the idea of liberty. That means इसका मतलब ये जरूरी नहीं है कि people जहाँ पे government बनाए वहीं पे liberty होगी. This is a wrong statement. If laws are changed too often, liberty is in danger. ये भी wrong statement है. भाई अगर time का need है law को change करना, then there will be a change in the law. हाउ कैन यू से कि अगर आप बार बार लॉ को चेंज कर रहे हो मतलब लिबर्टी को एंडेंजर कर रहे हो? दिस इज नॉट पॉसिबल, क्योंकि लॉज क्या पता टाइम के हिसाब से, लाइक यू नीड सम काइंड ऑफ मोर लिबर्टी, you need to like have some kind of digital liberty where you can put some kind of content on the internet. So this is how the laws are changed with the needs of the time. और ऐसा नहीं है कि every time they will endanger the concept of liberty. So this is a wrong statement. So the answer for this question will be option A, that is if there are more laws, if there are no laws, there is no liberty. Answer will be B option. That is B is the right answer. Now moving on to the next question. देख रहे हो philosophical question they have been asking almost every year. It was a question in 2018, then they asked a question in 2017, 16. Every year they have been asking a question on the philosophical concept of the Constitution of India. Now question number 45 is there. It is a question in 2018 prelims. ठीक है, one second. Which one of the following are regarded as the main features of the rule of law? ठीक है, limitation of powers, equality before law, people's responsibility to the government, and fourth option is liberty and civil rights. ठीक है, just tell me, four options are there, and the rule of law was given as a concept by A.V. Dicey. A.V. Dicey gave this concept, and it has been asking about three statements. Supremacy of the law, it has been talking about supremacy of the law, equality before the law, and the third statement is predominance of legal spirit. The third statement is predominance of legal spirit. So this is how the A.V. Dicey's concept of rule of law is being followed. Now if we relate the statements that have been given in the question with the A.V. Dicey's concept, now I talk about the first statement, limitations of power. Limitation of powers. Can you tell me what is the limitation of powers? Basically this is the practice of following the constitution. Like constitutionalism का जो indirect meaning है ना, constitutional का जो meaning है ना constitutionalism का, it is talking about a limited government. It is talking about the limited government. Limited government, that means that is limited from the principles of the constitution. It is not an unlimited government. It cannot do whatever it likes to do. Like अगर ऐसा होता है ना, it will lead to an anarchical state. Like there would be despotism is there, authoritarianism is there, totalitarian government is there. You must read a novel. It is 1984 by George Orwell. 1984 by George Orwell, and this book has been talking about the traits of a totalitarian regime. How the rights, like don't talk about rights. There are no right available to any person in a totalitarian state. In a country like North Korea, you cannot even think like basic rights of fundamental right of freedom of speech and expression are not available to them. They cannot even watch the TV programs they like to watch. Like everything is state controlled. Everything is like dictated by the terms of the state. They can have, they must have a particular hairstyle. Like they are not even allowed to follow a particular kind of hairstyle. So this is how there is no such liberty available in a totalitarian regime. So this question, limitation of powers, it is the basic concept of the constitutionalism, and this is a part of the rule of law. So this statement would be correct. Now equality before law is a part of the constitution. Part of the constitution under part 3 of the Indian constitution, fundamental rights is there. That means it is for the spirit of the constitution of India to provide for the equality before law. So this would be a right statement. 1 and 2 are right. Liberty and civil rights, ये तो right होगा ही. बिना liberty के there would be no survival of the state or constitution. So this would be also right. So 1 to 4 are the right answers. Now if I talk about the third statement, people's responsibility to the government. In the last question we discussed, it is the state that must provide certain claims to the people of India. Otherwise it is not true. It should be the concept like people's responsibility to the government should be interchanged. Government's responsibility to the people of the country, that should be the right statement, because government responsible hogi tabhi it can provide the way for the fundamental rights that are being given by the constitution. So this statement is wrong. Ye sahi kab hota? Government's responsibility to the people of India or people of a country. So this statement is wrong. 1 to 4 and correct. 1 to 4 are correct. So the answer will be 1 3 नहीं होगा, 2 4 नहीं होगा, 1 2 4 is the right answer. 1 2 3 4 is a wrong answer. समझ आया? Now moving on to the next question, we have a question on 1 second. Next question is there. In the context of polity, it was a 2019 prelims question, and it has been talking about in the context of polity, which one of the following would you accept as the most appropriate definition of liberty? फिर से liberty का question. This is how UPSC has been using the previous year concept to make a new question. अभी हमने we discussed the concept on liberty. There was a question in 2018 prelims. Similarly, they asked the question in 2019 prelims on the concept of liberty, and the question has been asking about, देखो ध्यान से समझना कि आपको खुद ही आंसर मिल जाएगा इसका. प्रोटेक्शन अगेंस्ट द टायरनी ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल रूलर, ठीक है. एब्सेंस ऑफ रेस्ट्रेंट, ठीक है. अपॉर्चुनिटी टू डू वट एवर वन लाइक्स. भाई ये तो एब्सर्ड स्टेटमेंट हो गया कि ऐसा अपॉर्चुनिटी दो जिसका जो मन करे वो करे. क्या ये स्टेट में पॉसिबल है कि जिसका जो मन करे वो पॉसिबल हो? देयर मस्ट बी सम काइंड ऑफ रेगुलेशंस, देयर मस्ट बी सम काइंड ऑफ रेस्ट्रिक्शंस, आई कैन से लॉजिकल रेस्ट्रिक्शंस that must be there for the liberty of the other people to be enjoyed. So this cannot be the answer. Opportunity to develop oneself fully, this seems to be the right answer कि इतना opportunity दो so that people can develop themselves in a equitable manner, कि इतनी liberty तो आप provide करो कि सबका development हो सके. इतनी कम liberty आप provide करोगे तो कुछ भी नहीं होगा, और ज़्यादा liberty आप provide कर दोगे तो state fail हो जाएगा. So it is a balance that needs to be followed. It is a balance that must be followed. Balance मतलब if there is very less liberty or no liberty is there, then it will be a, I can say, totalitarian state. ऐसी state जहाँ पे कोई liberty नहीं है, it is despotic, or I can say totalitarian state. और जहाँ पे आपने full liberty दे दी, like 100% liberty, you can do whatever you want to do, then it is a situation of anarchy. lawlessness is there, like everyone will do whatever they will like to do. Say for example, I take an example of a red light, traffic light. रेड लाइट पे, ग्रीन लाइट पे जिसका जो मन करे वो करे, तो ये केओस वाला सिचुएशन होगा या नहीं होगा कि लाइक एवरी कार बाइक इज कमिंग फ्रॉम हेयर एंड देयर, and it will lead to a situation of anarchy because you gave 100% liberty to the people of the country, और जहां पे 100% liberty होगा वहां पे chaos आना ही आना है. So we need to have some kind of balance where there are minimal restrictions, like those restrictions must be logical and according to the concepts of the constitution. So this statement is like there must be a balance between these no liberty and 100% liberty. So absence of restraints तो एकदम illogical answer, क्योंकि you need to have some kind of restraints. See the example of traffic light. Traffic light is acting as a restraint कि अगर आपका लिबर्टी है उस पाथ को यूज करने का, तो दूसरों का भी तो लिबर्टी है अपने रास्ते में जाने का. ऐसा तो नहीं है ना कि ग्रीन लाइट सिर्फ आप ही के लिए ओपन होगी. इट विल बी ओपन फॉर एवरीवन एंड एवरीवन विल गेट एन एम्पल अपॉर्चुनिटी टू पास थ्रू दैट स्क्वायर. समझ आया? सो दिस स्टेटमेंट कैन नॉट बी द राइट आंसर. Protection against the tyranny of the political rulers, this is also wrong because it is a concept of constitution that provides the protection against the tyranny of the political rulers. Liberty is a small concept of the constitution. So specifically it is the answer D, that is opportunity to develop oneself fully. That will be the right answer. I hope you got the concept of liberty right by taking the example of that traffic light. हमेशा याद रखना उसका example and you will never get wrong in the concept of liberty. Now moving on to the next question, we have one second. This is a repeated question. It is a repeated question and constitutional government has been one of the favorite topics for UPSC. They just directly ask कि what is a constitutional government. और अभी हमने बताया कि constitutional government is a limited government, क्योंकि अगर अनलिमिटेड गवर्नमेंट विल बी देयर इट विल बी अ डेस्पोटिक गवर्नमेंट. वर्ड याद रखना, डेस्पोटिक और टोटलिटेरियन गवर्नमेंट, कि अनलिमिटेड पावर्स इट गोट, जिसको मन करा उसको इनकार्सरेट कर दो, किसी को भी कॉन्विक्ट बना दो, किसी को जेल में डाल दो, किसी को बिना ट्रायल के मतलब अंदर रखो जेल में. दिस इज द ट्रेट ऑफ अ अनलिमिटेड गवर्नमेंट. इतना पावर है कि जो मन करे वो करो. ठीक है. सो दिस इज हाउ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल गवर्नमेंट कम्स इन and it is simply a limited government. देखो आंसर भी ढूंढना नहीं पड़ा. Constitutional government is a limited government और despotic government is a unlimited government. बाकी देखो, बाकी स्टेटमेंट क्या है? गवर्नमेंट बाय लेजिस्लेचर, एकदम एब्सर्ड कॉन्सेप्ट. ये तो मतलब समझ ही नहीं आ रहा ना कि लेजिस्लेचर से गवर्नमेंट बनेगी भी, तो इसकी क्या गारंटी है कि दे विल फॉलो द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन? इट इज नो गारंटी. तो दिस इज अ रॉन्ग स्टेटमेंट. पॉपुलर गवर्नमेंट, दिस इज आल्सो रॉन्ग. मल्टी पार्टी गवर्नमेंट, ऐसा भी कुछ पॉसिबल नहीं है कि मल्टी पार्टी गवर्नमेंट होगी तो वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को फॉलो करेगी. सो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म एज अ कॉन्सेप्ट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट द लिमिटेड गवर्नमेंट, इज टॉकिंग अबाउट द लिमिटेड गवर्नमेंट. ओके, लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. वन सेकेंड. नाउ वी हैव, दिस वाज अ, पानी देना को भी. This was a 2021 prelims question and the question has been talking about which one of the following factors constitutes the best safeguard of liberty in a liberal democracy. ठीक है. The question has been talking about कि we provided liberty to the people of country. We provided liberty to the people of country and the question has been talking कि इस लिबर्टी को हम सेफगार्ड कैसे करें. कि आपने लिबर्टी तो दे दिया, बट लिबर्टी देना इज नॉट अ वन टाइम फिनोमिना. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने एक बार लिबर्टी दिया, एट द नेक्स्ट इंस्टेंस यू स्नैच इट बैक. सो दिस इज नॉट हाउ द लिबर्टी इज प्रोवाइडेड. लिबर्टी देने का मतलब है आपने लिबर्टी दिया एंड यू एंश्योर द कंटिन्यूटी ऑफ दैट प्रिंसिपल, कि वो लिबर्टी फॉर द लॉन्ग टर्म और आई कैन से फॉर परपेचुइटी दैट इज एक्टिव. यानी लिबर्टी हमेशा रहना चाहिए लोगों के पास या पीपल के पास. तो अब क्वेश्चन हैज बीन आस्किंग कि इस लिबर्टी को हम इंश्योर कैसे करें. नाउ इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द ऑप्शंस, भाई सेंट्रलाइजेशन ऑफ पावर्स, ये तो खुद में दिख रहा है ना रॉन्ग स्टेटमेंट. अभी हमने बताया सेंट्रलाइजेशन ऑफ पावर्स का मतलब अनलिमिटेड गवर्नमेंट का फॉर्मेशन होगा. अनलिमिटेड गवर्नमेंट का मतलब द गवर्नमेंट विद अनलिमिटेड पावर्स, द गवर्नमेंट विद अनलिमिटेड पावर्स. और अभी हमने बोला ना कि जहां पे द गवर्नमेंट विद अनलिमिटेड पावर्स होगी वहां पे डेफिनेटली यू विल नॉट गेट एनी काइंड ऑफ लिबर्टी. सो दिस कैन नॉट बी द राइट आंसर. elected government. This is also wrong because somehow you get an elected government, but there is no guarantee that this elected government will ensure the liberty is safeguarded. This is never true, because even the elected governments in their majoritarian regime can go against the principles of liberty. So this is not the right answer. But now we are confused in two statements, that is a committed judiciary and separation of powers. Majority of the student in 2021 prelims got stuck between these two options, a committed judiciary and separation of powers. Now if we go by the NCERT, na, a committed judiciary is that judiciary that is committed to the policies of the government. ध्यान से समझना, that is committed to the policies of government. Policies of the government, ये ऐसी जुडिशरी है जो हमेशा गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसीज की तरफ ही अलाइन करेगी. गवर्नमेंट किसी भी टाइप का पॉलिसी बनाए, द जुडिशरी विल नेवर अपोज इट. वो पॉलिसी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल हो, अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल हो, जुडिशरी विल नेवर अपोज इट. तो मेरे को एक बात बताओ, अगर इस टाइप का कोई सिचुएशन हुआ कि वट एवर पॉलिसी द एग्जीक्यूटिव विल इंप्लीमेंट और द लेजिस्लेचर विल मेक, और जुडिशरी उसको अपोज करे ही ना, तो जुडिशियल रिव्यू का तो कॉन्सेप्ट ही खत्म हो गया. बिकॉज दिस इज द बेसिस ऑफ द जुडिशियल रिव्यू, कि भाई जुडिशियल रिव्यू में जुडिशरी विल चेक कि ये जो लॉ पॉलिसी है ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है या नहीं है. समझ आया? तो यहां पे तो गलत हो गया ना. कमिटेड जुडिशरी तो कभी चेक ही नहीं करेगी कि वो पॉलिसी ठीक है या नहीं है. दिस इज द सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर्स दैट विल चेक, दैट विल कीप चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस, दैट विल कीप चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस. कैसे पावर काम करता है सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर्स? वी हैव एग्जीक्यूटिव अ पार्ट ऑफ द लेजिस्लेचर, एंड लेजिस्लेचर कंट्रोल्स द एग्जीक्यूटिव थ्रू नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन, थ्रू द पैसेज ऑफ मनी बिल्स, थ्रू सेंसर मोशन इज देयर, या फिर गवर्नमेंट गिर सकती है कॉन्फिडेंस अगर प्रूफ ना कर पाए, एडजर्नमेंट मोशन इज देयर. सो दिस इज हाउ द लेजिस्लेचर इज एक्सरसाइजिंग कंट्रोल ओवर द एग्जीक्यूटिव. Similarly, judiciary can also take the legislature, like judiciary can declare a law unconstitutional, ultra virus, under the process of judicial review. So this is how one organ of the state is getting checked by the other organs of the state. So the right answer for this will be option D, that is separation of powers. I hope you get the question right. Now moving on to the next question, we have, one second, फिर से सेम क्वेश्चन, ऑलमोस्ट रिपीटेड, एंड इट वाज अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ 2023 प्रीलिम्स. अभी रिसेंटली लास्ट प्रीलिम्स जो हुआ है उसमें था सेम क्वेश्चन ये, एंड इट हैज बीन टॉकिंग अबाउट विच वन ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स बेस्ट रिफ्लेक्ट्स द चीफ पर्पस ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ अ कंट्री. अभी हमने बताया ना, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म एज अ कॉन्सेप्ट, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म इज डायरेक्टली रिलेटेड टू द लिमिटेड गवर्नमेंट. जहां पे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन होगा और उस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को आपने रियल सेंस में फॉलो किया, मतलब आपके पास है लिमिटेड गवर्नमेंट, दैट इज अ गवर्नमेंट दैट इज लिमिटेड बाय द आइडियल्स ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. दिस इज हाउ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म वर्क्स. तो यहां पे द क्वेश्चन हैज बीन आस्किंग बेस्ट रिफ्लेक्ट्स द चीफ पर्पस ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ अ कंट्री. अब ध्यान से समझना, जहां पे लिमिट दिखे दैट वुड बी द राइट आंसर. It determines the objective for the making of necessary laws. ठीक है, statement ठीक है, but it is not related. It enables the creation of political offices and a government. This is about the administrative law. Administrative law. Constitution does not talk about this. It defines and limits. आ गया ना limits word. A limited government. It defines and limits the powers of the government. This will be the right answer. जहां भी constitutionalism होगा वहां पे there would be a limitation on the powers of the government, and this is how the work of constitutionalism is done. So the answer for this will be option C. D option क्या है? It secures social justice, social equality and social security. By this statement is talking about the DPSP. भाई ये DPSP के बारे में बात कर रहा है कि सोशल जस्टिस, सोशल इक्वालिटी और सोशल सिक्योरिटी कहां से आता है? DPSP से. और DPSP कैन नेवर पुट एनी काइंड ऑफ ऑब्लिगेशन और लिमिट ऑन द स्टेट. पढ़ा था ना कि DPSP लेजिस्लेचर को नहीं रोक सकते कि वो स्टेप लिया जाए या नहीं लिया जाए. DPSP कैन जस्ट प्रोवाइड सम काइंड ऑफ इनपुट्स कि इन टॉपिक्स पे लॉज मस्ट बी देयर, बट ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि एग्जीक्यूटिव या लेजिस्लेचर उनको फॉलो करे. सो दिस कैन नॉट बी द राइट आंसर. सो ऑप्शन C is the correct answer for the chief purpose of the constitution of a country. Now moving on to the next question, we have question number we have next set of topic that is parliamentary legislative process. Parliamentary legislative process समझ आया? Legislative process का मतलब whenever we need to make a law, this law will get through some kind of stages, then the bill will become a law. It will be introduced by a member of parliament, then it will passed by the two houses of the parliament, then it will be sent to the presidential assent, and if the presidential assent is there, then the bill becomes an act or a law. This is how the legislative process of the parliament works. Now the first question has been saying, which of the following statements are correct regarding the bills? A bill pending in the Lok Sabha lapses on its prorogation. First statement, a bill pending in the Rajya Sabha which has not been passed by the Lok Sabha shall not lapse on the dissolution of Lok Sabha. This is a correct statement. See, first statement is wrong because it is talking about the prorogation. Prorogation का मतलब सेशन खत्म हो गया, लोकसभा डिसॉल्व नहीं हुई. डिसॉल्व का मतलब क्या है? द वेरी लाइफ ऑफ द लोकसभा इज एंडेड, like after the dissolution, or I can say after the Lok Sabha is dissolved, there would be elections for the formation of new Lok Sabha. This is how the dissolve works. ठीक है, prorogation is just the ending of the session. Next session में this Lok Sabha will again meet, and bill का prorogation से कोई मतलब नहीं है. It is only the dissolution that will change the status of the bills. So this is a wrong statement and 2 is a right statement. So the answer for this will be option B. Now if I talk about the provisions where the bill will not lapse, ठीक है, देखो दो ऐसे केस हैं जहां पे बिल खत्म हो जाएगा, बाकी किसी केस में बिल खत्म नहीं होगा. जैसा पहला सिचुएशन है, ए बिल पेंडिंग इन द लोकसभा लेप्स कर जाएगा कि या तो वो लोकसभा से ओरिजिन हो या फिर लोकसभा ने ट्रांसमिट कर दिया हो राज्यसभा. इस केस में द बिल विल लेप्स, द न्यू लोकसभा विल प्रोसीड विद द न्यू बिल. ओके, एंड द सेकंड केस इज ए बिल पास्ड बाय द लोकसभा और पेंडिंग इन द राज्यसभा लेप्स करेगा. ठीक है, लोकसभा ने पास कर दिया, पास करने के बाद द बिल वेंट ऑन टू द राज्यसभा. मीनवाइल दिस लोकसभा वाज डिसॉल्व्ड, तो इस केस में हमारा बिल क्या कर जाएगा? लेप्स कर जाएगा. द न्यू लोकसभा विल अगेन इंट्रोड्यूस द न्यू बिल, देन देयर विल बी अ कंप्लीशन ऑफ द लेजिस्लेटिव प्रोसेस. तो इन दो केस में बिल खत्म होगा, बाकी 4 केसेस है उनमें बिल खत्म नहीं होगा. ठीक है, 4 केस कौन कौन से हैं जिसमें बिल खत्म नहीं होगा? ए बिल नॉट पास्ड बाय द ड्यू, जिसे बेसिकली अगर देयर इज अ नोटिफिकेशन फॉर द जॉइंट सिटिंग, वो लेप्स नहीं होगा. ठीक है, ए बिल पेंडिंग इन द राज्यसभा बट नॉट पास्ड बाय द लोकसभा, लेप्स नहीं होगा. यानी बिल किसमें पेंडिंग है? राज्यसभा में, और राज्यसभा ने अभी लोकसभा में बिल भेजा ही नहीं है, तो उस केस में इट विल नॉट लेप्स. थर्ड केस इज ए बिल, दोनों हाउसेज ने बिल को पास किया एंड बिल इज अंडर कंसिडरेशन बाय द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया, देन इट विल आल्सो नॉट लेप्स. एंड द फोर्थ केस इज ए बिल पास्ड बाय बोथ हाउसेज but returned by the president for reconsideration of the house will also not lapse. So basically these are the 4 cases in which the bill will not lapse. In the first 2 cases it will lapse. याद रखना, पहले 2 केस याद रखना, तो फिर अपने आप आपको बाकी 4 केसेस याद रहेंगे. Okay, now moving on to the next question we have. Okay, the question has been talking about the Parliament of India. It is a 2016 question, 2016 prelims question, and it has been talking about the Parliament of India acquires the power to legislate on any item in the state list in the national interest if a resolution to that effect is passed by. देखो, there are 5 cases, or I can say generally there are 3 lists in the 7th schedule of the Constitution of India. In the 7th schedule we have union list, we have state list, then we have concurrent list. ठीक है, on union list it is the parliament that will make a law. On state list it is the state that will make a law. On the concurrent list both the central government, or I can say parliament, as well as the state legislature can make a law. But in case of disagreement, it will be the central law that will prevail. Now, in normal times, the state legislature will make a law on the state list, and the union legislature will make a law on the union list. This is the normal circumstance. But there are 5 circumstances in the Constitution of India that gives the power to the Parliament to legislate a subject on the state list. There are 5 situations जहां पे पार्लियामेंट गेट्स द पावर टू लेजिस्लेट, यानी लॉ बनाएगा किसी भी सब्जेक्ट में जो किस में है, स्टेट लिस्ट में है. एंड दीज 5 सिचुएशंस आर लाइक दिस कि व्हेन 2 और मोर स्टेट्स request the parliament to make a law when there is some kind of national emergency. So basically these are the situations जहां पे राज्यसभा, और इसमें भी it will be the राज्यसभा जिसके पास पावर है to make a law on the state list. यहाँ पे ना it is a special power of the राज्यसभा to legislate on the subject of a state list. ये भी हम लोग एक नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखेंगे जहां पे राज्यसभा इस सब्जेक्ट में सुप्रीम है when compared to लोकसभा. Now the options are लोकसभा बाय सिंपल मेजोरिटी. भाई ये ऑप्शन तो गलत हो गया बिकॉज इट इज द प्रिविलेज ऑफ राज्यसभा नॉट लोकसभा. फिर से लोकसभा गलत. देन राज्यसभा तो ठीक है बट सिंपल मेजोरिटी से नहीं होता, इट इज अ स्पेशल मेजोरिटी. मेजोरिटी ऑफ द टोटल मेंबरशिप ऑफ द हाउस एंड मेजोरिटी ऑफ 2/3 मेंबर प्रेजेंट एंड वोटिंग. टोटल मेंबरशिप ऑफ द हाउस का भी मेजोरिटी होना चाहिए एज वेल एज 2/3 ऑफ द मेंबर्स प्रेजेंट एंड वोटिंग. सो दिस स्टेटमेंट इज आल्सो रॉन्ग. नाउ डी इज राज्यसभा तो है ट्रू by a majority of not less than 2/3 of its members present and voting. This is a right statement because ये power राज्यसभा का है and that too by a special majority not simple majority. Is it clear? Now moving on to the next question we have. One second. Okay. The question has been talking with reference to the Parliament of India. With reference to the Parliament of India, consider the following statements. A private member bill is a bill presented by a member of Parliament who is not elected but only nominated by the President of India. Absurd statement it is. Can you tell me the difference between a private member bill and a government bill? ध्यान से समझना इस डिफरेंस को. प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल इज दैट बिल दैट इज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय एनी मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट. ठीक है, दैट इज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय एनी मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट दैट इज नॉट अ मिनिस्टर. समझ आया कि प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल इज दैट बिल दैट इज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय एनी मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट हु इज नॉट अ मिनिस्टर. समझ आया, यानी मिनिस्टर के अलावा जो भी इस बिल को इंट्रोड्यूस करेगा उसको हम लोग क्या बोलेंगे? प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल. क्या मतलब हुआ? लाइक वी कैन से बीजेपी इज इन पावर राइट नाउ और एनडीए, देयर आर वेरी फ्यू मिनिस्टर्स, बट इवन इफ द एमपी ऑफ अ बीजेपी पार्टी एंड ही इज नॉट अ मिनिस्टर इंट्रोड्यूसेस अ बिल, देन दैट बिल विल बी नोन एज द प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल. प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल हमेशा याद रखना, उसका इंट्रोडक्शन मिनिस्टर के अलावा अगर कोई और करता है दैट इज अ प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल. नाउ द गवर्नमेंट बिल, द बिल इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय अ मिनिस्टर इज नॉट नोन एज अ गवर्नमेंट बिल. अगर मिनिस्टर इंट्रोड्यूस करेगा तो दैट बिल विल बी अ गवर्नमेंट बिल. अगर मिनिस्टर इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं करेगा दैट विल बी अ प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल. तो इनका डिफरेंशिएशन किसके बेसिस पे है कि वेदर और नॉट इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय अ मिनिस्टर और नॉट. ठीक है, मिनिस्टर ने इंट्रोड्यूस किया गवर्नमेंट बिल, मिनिस्टर ने इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं किया मतलब प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल. नॉमिनेशन या फिर इलेक्टेड मेंबर से इसका मतलब नहीं है. सो दिस स्टेटमेंट इज रॉन्ग. नाउ सेकंड स्टेटमेंट इज रिसेंटली अ प्राइवेट मेंबर्स बिल हैज बीन पास्ड इन द पार्लियामेंट ऑफ इंडिया फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम इन इट्स हिस्ट्री. दिस इज अ रॉन्ग स्टेटमेंट बिकॉज द लास्ट टाइम इट वाज पास्ड, the last time the private member bill became an act was in 1970 और 1970 को हुए हुए it has been almost 50 years now and it is not recent. like 50 years is not a recent phenomena. ठीक है, तो इसका मतलब this statement is also wrong. the law's name was that was passed in 1970 was last act जो था सुप्रीम कोर्ट एनलार्जमेंट ऑफ क्रिमिनल एपिलेट जरिस्डिक्शन. ठीक है, 1968 में the bill was introduced and it became an act in 1970. so this is a wrong statement. देखो प्राइवेट मेंबर्स ना बिल तो बहुत इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं but generally they don't become an act because it is like the parliament wants to get a bill enacted into a law that is being framed by the minister of that ministry. ठीक है, generally the bills that are being propounded by the government, like I can say minister bill, that is a greater chance of that becoming an act. Okay, now moving on to the next question, we have a question regarding money bill. ठीक है, money bill, and it has been asking regarding money bill, which of the following is not correct. It has been asking which of the following is not correct. See, money bill के ना कुछ provision है under article 110, under article 110 of the Indian Constitution, and article 110 talks about the features of a bill, और इनमें से if there is any features that matches with that bill, then this will be known as a money bill. ठीक है, इस लिस्ट में से अगर वो किसी से मैच करता है, that will be a money bill. और उसमें क्या क्या है provisions, like the imposition, abolition, remission, alteration और regulation of any tax. अगर ऐसा कोई provision आता है, that will be a money bill. The regulation of the borrowing of money or giving any guarantee by the government of India. Third is the custody of the consolidated fund of India or the contingency fund of India, the payment of monies into or the withdrawal of money from any such fund, the appropriation of money out of the consolidated fund of India. The question has been saying, the statement has been saying the appropriation of money out of the consolidated fund of India. Now if I see third statement, a money bill is concerned with the appropriation of monies out of the contingency fund of India. What did I just say? Money bill is concerned with the appropriation of money out of the consolidated fund of India. अभी मैंने ना एम्फेसाइज करके बोला ना कि कंसोलिडेटेड फंड ऑफ इंडिया से जो भी मनी का बाहर निकलेगा, दैट विल बी अ मनी बिल. बट दिस क्वेश्चन हैज बीन टॉकिंग अबाउट कंटीजेंसी फंड, एंड कंटीजेंसी फंड इज अंडर एग्जीक्यूटिव, इट इज हेल्ड बाय द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया, so it does not require parliamentary approval. ठीक है, so this statement is clearly wrong. So the answer, this is not a feature of a money bill, because यहाँ पे क्या होना चाहिए था, constitution consolidated fund of India. Is it clear? Okay, now moving on to the next question, we have question number 53, and it was a 2019 question, 2019 prelims question. Okay, with reference to the legislature of assembly of a state in India, consider the following statements. ठीक है, the governor makes a customary address to members of the house at the commencement of first session of each year. This is a right statement. जैसे president makes a session, president address is there in the parliament at the beginning of each year and at the formation of a new government. Similarly, the governor will take a customary address at the beginning of the new year or the beginning of new Vidhan Sabha. So this is a right statement. When the state legislature does not have a rule on a particular matter, it follows the Lok Sabha rule on that matter. This is also correct, because generally not every state legislature have rule on everything. When this happens, they can directly take a Lok Sabha rule and modify or amend it according to their own requirements. So this is also correct. It was a simple question, not much to think about this. So the answer for this will be option C. Now moving on to the next question, we have I think it is the last question for today, because we have been talking about the parliamentary legislative process. In the next video we will take the topics for different subtopics. So this is the last question for today, and it has been talking about with reference to the finance bill and money bill in the Indian Parliament. Consider the following statements. When the Lok Sabha transmits finance bill to the Rajya Sabha, first statement, it can amend or reject the bill. Bhai, we know when it comes to the money bill, Rajya Sabha has limited powers. Rajya Sabha amend भी नहीं कर सकता बिल को, राज्य सभा इंट्रोड्यूस भी नहीं कर सकता बिल को, राज्य सभा रिजेक्ट भी नहीं कर सकता बिल को, कुछ भी नहीं कर सकता. At max, it can give recommendations to the लोक सभा कि यार ये ना बिल में what राज्य सभा थिंक कि हमको ऐसा लगता है कि थोड़ा बहुत चेंजेस यू कैन डू, बट इट इज अप टू लोक सभा वेदर टू एक्सेप्ट दोज recommendations और नॉट. जनरली लोक सभा एक्सेप्ट, बट ये ऑब्लिगेशन नहीं है लोक सभा पे कि वो उसको एक्सेप्ट करेगा ही करेगा. दिस इज रॉन्ग. ठीक है, तो इट कैन नॉट अमेंड और रिजेक्ट द बिल. दिस इज अ रॉन्ग स्टेटमेंट. गोविंद पानी देना. कपिल. सेकेंड स्टेटमेंट इज when the Lok Sabha transmits bill, money bill to the Rajya Sabha, it cannot amend or reject the bill, it can only make recommendations. This is what I just discussed na, amendment नहीं कर सकता, rejection नहीं कर सकता, it can only make recommendation. So this is a right statement. Third, in case of disagreement between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, there is no joint sitting for money bill, but joint sitting becomes necessary for a finance bill. This is also wrong, because according to article 108, money bill is also a type of finance bill. So this will be a wrong statement, because in money bill there is no concept of joint sitting, क्योंकि money bill में it is लोक सभा that is supreme, तो लोक सभा का हमेशा क्या होगा, पावर चलेगा, तो इसमें we don't need any provision of joint sitting. ठीक है, joint sitting is there only for the ordinary bills. Even in constitutional amendment bills, we need to get the bill passed by the each house in a separate fashion. ठीक है, दोनों हाउस जब तक उसको पास नहीं करेंगे, constitutional amendment bill will never become an amendment to the constitution. Okay, so this is a wrong statement. 1 is wrong, 2 is correct. So the how many of the above statements are correct? That is only 1. That is a second statement is only correct. 1 and 3 are wrong. So this is the last question for today's lecture, today's discussion. We will be meeting in the third video for the PYQ analysis of the polity subject. We will be discussing the next set of topics. So till then, keep studying and revising. Happy Diwali to all of you. Thank you.